me viewers, Dullyman here with another review, well, review-ish, or more of an overview as opposed to an actual review, you know. Yeah, Enter the Dragon at 40, yeah, because it deserves a few blogs at least, I think. Seen it hundreds of times, of course. Big Bruce Lee fan, so it's like I've got to do it, because I think the original premiere of Enter the Dragon, there's the picture, August 29th 1973. I think the premiere of the evening, that's taking it afternoon, innit? But what would you give for, like, you know, if you could just jump in that photograph and be there on the day for such like an iconic type movie, yeah? Right, so it's like Bale Logan once wrote that no one stands as such a colossus over a genre than Bruce Lee and over the martial arts film, like, you know. So when I was thinking up various ideas, you know, it's like, what can one say about Enter the Dragon that's not been said, wrote about, discussed, what have you, you know? It's because you think, yeah, I could do, nah, I've heard that, yeah. Well, what if, nah, seen it, bastard. Well, what if that, nah, no good, discuss that one. So you've got to rack your brains a bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 or 3 blogs on Enter the Dragon on various different aspects of it, rather than try and cram it all into one cramness now, you know, where you're talking 100 mile an hour, try and get everything in. So so where to start? Well, first of all, poster, coconut, yeah. Yeah, Enter the Dragon, British Quad poster, classic iconic design, like the movie itself. I'm going to do a blog on memorabilia, various different stuff I've got on Enter the Dragon, yeah, so I'll mention a bit more then, but suffice to say, classic, Bob Peaks the artist, and yeah, worth a bit of money now, this. Some guys selling it on eBay, whether it's still on or not I don't know, he could have sold it. 450 quid plus 15 quid postage, so you know, you're not going to get that cheap anymore. But anything that's iconic, anything do, you know, anything to do with Bruce Lee, always worth a bit of money. So yeah, it's classic that. Yeah, it's pretty good nick as well. It's only slightly folded, and it's not bad at all. Right, what can we say? What can we say? I think it's, you know, when you look back on it, it's one of them things. It's one of them movies where everything comes together, doesn't it? You know, you've got Bruce Lee at the top, obviously. Already been successful in Hong Kong, but of course this was the biggie, weren't it? You know, this were going international. So you've got that. You've got spiky direction by Robert Clouse. Gilbert Hubbs, director of photography, who'd only done 16 mil. And he learnt on the flight over to Hong Kong, learnt how to do it on 35, yeah. But he did a fantastic job. I love the look of the film though as well. You know, you've got that like technical 1970s hue to it. It's got like a golden brown colour, Enter the Dragon, and it's very colourful as well to film. And it's like, say the banquet sequence, when Williams lifts up that thingy without food in, you know, and it's like, you can almost smell the Orient, can't you, in Enter the Dragon? Of course, and then you've got Roper and Williams, classic characters, you know, well played by John Saxon and recently deceased Jim Kelly in it. That all works. You've got everything, you know, O'Hara, Bolo, Mr. Hans Tournament. Got all that. You've even got a British guy in it. Hello, Mr. Braithwaite. The fact that there's a British guy in Enter the Dragon, you know, that's kudos, isn't it? I'm buzzing with that one. So you've got all these different factors, Peter Archer, Anna Capri. Then we've got the fight sequences, of course, which are absolute classic, brilliantly done, fast paced. You can see what's going on. The fight with O'Hara and all this. I mean, you've seen it obviously, but I mean, you know, the weapons room and the mirrors, you know, it's all kind of iconic-ish. Yeah. And of course, not forgetting Lalo Schifrin's absolute classic score. Was there ever a better martial arts movie score? Is the Fork. Just gives the film that extra bit of like all good movie scores do, of course, you know. Yeah, so so I'd like to just end this opening blog with an examination in a sequence in one of the fights. Yeah, bit of a microcosm of a fight sequence, how to do it, yeah, and how it's done. I'll just get another fag. There we go, sir. Can't beat this coconut. Just thought now, yeah. When I mentioned earlier about the cinematography, you know, the colour of it, the Technicolor 1970s. I know it's just come out on Blu-ray, hasn't it? Don't have a Blu-ray player, not upgraded, so I don't know what the quality is like on Blu-ray. I don't know whether they've got it right or not, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Excuse me. It's that chicken curry I had, isn't it? Chicken curry, yeah, Chinese meal, yeah, appropriate, yeah. I'm going to have to read up on a couple of reviews to see, or some screenshots, you know, to see whether they've got it right. So I'll put that in another blog. So we're in the weapons room, yeah. Brucey is fighting Han, and it's just after that scene where he's tripped Han up. Han's gone flying on his arse, yeah, and then Han gets up, whoosh, strikes him right down front, tries to kick him and then punch him, but Lee blocks the kick, blocks the punch, hits him in gut, dish, and then just throws him on the floor, yeah. First thing is, love the sound effect of Han's blades, you know, whoosh. It's awesome, that sound. And that's what's the thing about all the Bruce Lee movies is the sound effects, yeah. If you want a classic iconic fight sequence, the one thing you've got to have are classic sound effects, yeah. Preferably Hong Kong 1970s, yeah, they knew how to do them. It's like if you watch the Burly Brawling second Matrix, you know, where he fights 9 million Smiths. Cracking fight, enjoyable and all that. The only thing I'd have against it is the sound effects are a bit crappy. If they'd have dubbed or used some 1970s sound effects on it, it'd have been better, yeah. So that's the first thing about a good fight sequence, mega sound effects, yeah. So you got that whoosh, and then the dish and all this. So hands on floor, like, you know, and you can see Lee, he's like gearing up for something like, you know, what is it? And like, Han gets up and whoosh, Bruce Lee comes up with this kick, It's like whoosh, talk about going flying. No human in history could have survived that kick. No way. It must have been Hans Chi that kept him alive, yeah? So he goes fucking flying. It must knock Han across 3 time zones, yeah? And I always remember in cinema, or when I've ever seen that sequence with anybody, it always gets a laugh at, because it's piss funny. But again, another important aspect of a fight scene, you know, a bit of humour. There's always a bit of humour in Bruce Lee's fights, yeah? Which, again, I appreciate a bit of humour in a good fight sequence. So, Han's gone flying, like, you know, and Han gets up, like, you can tell he's fucked. Who ordered the veal cutlet, like, you know. And then he grabs Han by the head, doesn't he? Boom, like that. And then kind of kicks him with underside of his foot. Not hard, just for wake him up a tad. Yeah. Bit of humour again. I mean, it's a bit of a kind of a bollocks unorthodox move, but again, it's kind of humorous as well. So then he turns around and excellent sound effect when he smacks him right in the face, yeah, and Han goes back. There's something about the bad guy just getting it in the face, innit? I mean, he's a good villain, Han, like, you kind of respect him a bit, like, you know, but you just can't wait for see he's get his head, you know, caved in, like. And it's a kind of catharsis in it, a kind of justice, yeah? So you've got that as well. And then comes the zinger at the end with the pause, you know, when he goes, oh, and he pauses in front of that, like, torture rack instrument thing, whatever, yeah? In a room surrounded by the weapons of the ages, adorned by the trappings of injury, but not injured. Yeah. So let's review it. Just that microcosm of a fight. Yeah. You've got mega sound effects. You've got a bit of humour in it. You've got justice, and you've got the zinger at the end with the pause. Yeah. All paced brilliantly. You can see what's going on. And it edited superbly as well, yeah. So all the characteristics there of a classic fight sequence, and that's what you're up against if you want to enter into, you know, the arena of martial arts movie making, because that's a kind of a high bar, that. But it's a good sequence. I've always liked that sequence, and so that's. Me end of my first mini blog on Enter the Dragon, yeah? Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more rock and roll. And here's the clip. And action.